glad you are here. First, housekeeping. Please silence your cell phones if you haven't already. And the exits are where you came in, and there's one back here, unless you need it. Do not head that way. It's a dead end. You won't get anywhere. Let's see. Please respect the COVID-19 regulations for our theater. When you are in the lobby or being seated, please have your mask on at all times. If you're eating, drinking, obviously, take them off, enjoy yourself. But for everybody's safety, please keep your masks on. With respect to us, we are not masked, and we have, believe it or not, an imaginary line that keeps us the regulated distance from the first row of people so that everyone is safe. And there isn't any, like, co-mingling. I want to thank our sponsors for not only this show, but before the pandemic, many businesses in town had sponsored different events that have been canceled. So if you are out and about and see a sign in the business that you're attending that they support the RFA, please thank them, because it's very important, and I am very grateful for them. Tonight's performance is going to be dedicated to Paul Ellis. He was a man that loved this theater and dedicated many, many hours of his time. He financially supported us. In the 70s, he came back and brought musical theater to Rangeley. He directed, he served on the board for 30 some odd years, and he will be sorely missed. So this is for you, Paul. Let's start tonight with a one-act play called Madam President. Now, if you are married in a couple, you might see a little bit of yourselves in this play. It's a comedy, and it's just silliness. So, it was written in 1937, so it's a little older, and I almost can guarantee you haven't seen it before. So, please relax, forget the nonsense out in the world, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
Yes, Tori.
I have the most marvelous news for you.
Yes, Tori, what is it?
Guess what?
What?
Are you listening?
Yes.
Well, put the paper down then. You'll never guess what happened to me today.
Then you tell me.
Yes, that's just what I'm going to do. You are going to be so proud of me.
Finally.
Yes, you should be overjoyed for your wife.
Well, Tori, what is it?
Well, husband dear, I have been elected president of our women's club.
You? President?
Yes, can you bear it?
Hardly.
Well, I didn't want it, but they simply insisted. They said it was hard to find anybody to fill the position because there was so much responsibility attached to it. And they just knew I would give it my best.
That's fine. Now, what exactly do you have to give your best of?
Oh, different things. For the next meeting, I have to prepare a paper to read.
A paper? Is this something you have to write yourself, Tori?
Of course I'll write it myself. And that's where you come in. I guess they thought you, being a writer and all, you could give me a hint here and there.
Oh, I see. I'm going to write the paper and you're going to read it. Is that it?
Oh, certainly not. I'll write the paper myself. I do know how to write, Philip. Why, when I was a girl, any number of things were published in our school newspaper.
Yeah, I read some of them.
And I sent many things to magazines, and they would have been published, only the Depression came on, and they didn't publish anything. And you'll remember that not one of them sent my things back to me.
Yes, I know.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
I guess. Did you send them postage?
Of course not. That's the most insulting thing I've ever heard. Sending postage to such big concerns as publishing companies. Who ever heard of such a thing?
Well, I have.
Well, maybe you have, but they all wrote and said they'd be interested in anything else that I care to send.
Well, maybe they get their scratch paper that way.
Do you think so? I would be so disgusted if they did.
So what does this paper have to be about?
It's on Hamlet. You know, Shakespeare's play. You've read it, haven't you?
I think so.
Well, you've seen it anyway, because I know I saw it once when I was with you. It was that night we went to the Ainsleys for dinner. We met that doctor that you didn't like. I remember because there were 8 of us, and then we went to the theater. Well, we're taking it up as a study. It's a ghost story. Hamlet is this young man, and he's always seeing ghosts, and it drives him crazy. Only some people think he makes believe. I think he really must be nuts, because I know I would be if every time I went on my veranda I saw a specter of some sort. You remember, Hamlet's a Great Dane.
Really? The profound economical changes.
Yes,
Which...
well, it's really about the son of Hamlet, King of Denmark, and his name is Hamlet too. The play opens and the king has died, and Hamlet's mother marries her brother-in-law, which is Hamlet's uncle, which makes him his own cousin in a way, and he doesn't like it.
The profound...
Are you listening?
Yes.
I say he doesn't like it.
Well, it's a rather awkward position to be in.
Well, it certainly is. His father comes back as a spirit and tells Hamlet that he's been poisoned, and you'll never guess where.
Where?
In the ear.
Yeah. Okay.
But they did things so differently back then. But you'll never guess by who.
Well, his brother.
You are perfectly correct. I knew it would come back to you. But the people in the play don't know it yet, and you'll never guess what they did to him.
They crowned him.
No, they should have. They made him king instead.
I hope you don't have to write a synopsis in the story that you have to prepare.
No, I'll just take it up from some technical standpoint. You know, I should probably take some notes. Maybe do some blocking, write some theory.
Well, here's a pencil, but don't forget to return it.
Thank you. Feel free to give me any hints that you might have.
The profound economical changes which we have passed
Is that
in the
the
last...
copy of the complete works of Shakespeare?
It sure looks like it.
Well, then it probably is. Could you hand it to me, please?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Let's see, where is it? Hamlet, where is, oh, there's the second part of Henry VI. I wonder which part of him that is. Have you read it?
A long time ago.
Hamlet, Hamlet, where art thou? That's one of the quotations, do you remember? There's some Henrys and Richards, there's a John. Oh, Romeo and Juliet. Ah, it's such a beautiful love story. I think it's one of the most beautiful love stories in literature, don't you?
I think you're safe in saying that.
Now, you go ahead and read your paper, dear. I'm not going to bother you.
Well, that's just fine. Profound economical changes which we have
Romeo
passed
and Juliet.
through the last years.
How if when I'm laid into the tomb, I wake before Romeo come to redeem me? There's a fearful point.
It certainly is.
You know, I've always wanted to play that part. Now that I'm Madam President, I think I'll have the club put that on. You always do such stupid things for entertainment.
And I suppose you'll play Juliet.
Of course. Do you know anybody else who could do it as well?
Well, no one would be as entertaining as you.
Aw, you say the sweetest things.
The profound economical changes through which we have passed during the last 3 years.
Shakespeare wrote poetry too, didn't he? Yes. Do you know what Mrs. Surgeon said to me today? It just goes to show how little some people know. It was after the elections and after I'd been chosen to write this paper. And do you know what she said?
No, I don't. Should I?
Should you? Of course not. You weren't even there. She said, I can't even stand it. Now that you're going to speak on Shakespeare, I do hope you don't talk on bacon. As if I would speak about bacon or any other part of the pig in connection with Shakespeare.
She probably meant Bacon the writer.
Is there a bacon outright?
There was.
She wouldn't know that. I know what she meant, all right. Jealousy. That's what it is. I have half a mind to make her in charge of our suppers for our hospitality committee.
Well, is that do unto others as you would have them do unto you?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. What do you think?
The profound economical changes which we have passed during the last 3 years have with...
Hamlet! Here it is, Hamlet. Prince of Denmark. Oh, Denmark. There's an awful lot to read here, isn't there?
Well, it is a full-length play.
Well, it certainly is, and then some. Now I might do it, Pat. Polonius? Who is he?
The Lord Chamberlain.
Aw, there's one of those in Puss in Boots, wasn't there? Philip, what's it called when an actor says a lot of words on stage, they have a speech by themselves?
A soliloquy.
Yes, that's it. I think that's the first indication that we have that Hamlet's losing his mind. He talks to himself so much.
The profound economical changes which we have passed during the last 3 years have gone...
Sweets to the sweet. Why, Philip, that's a candy ad. I must have the copy that they used when they put it on a modern dress. I think I've done enough tonight. I'll work on it tomorrow. You know what? I think I'm going to have to get some new clothes for this position of mine. What do you think I should wear to the first meeting, Philip?
I don't know.
Philip, you've been wrapped up in this paper ever since you came to the house.
I'd like to finish what I started reading, if you don't mind.
I just want a little piece of it. The crossword puzzle, please.
I didn't know you did the crossword puzzle, Tori.
Oh, yes, they're very educational. Why, if it hadn't been for the crossword puzzle, I wouldn't know what a two-toed sloth was.
Well, what is it?
I had it here just a minute ago. It's, well, a 2 is a number, and a toe is a digit. And a sloth is like, you know, when you call somebody a sloth.
It's quite clear.
You see, I did know.
Yes, I see. The profound economical changes in which we have passed during the last 3 years have gone without any interruption, for the country is in a wild state of an economical depression.
Philip, it's a hard one tonight.
It is?
Don't talk, I'm trying to concentrate. I'd like to get this done in the time limit, 13 minutes. Philip, what's a conjunction with 3 letters?
Is it but?
No, it begins with an A. If number 1 across is correct, and it must be.
And?
And it must be because Peter Gint's mother is A-S-E. I had that one last night.
And is the answer.
The word and,
Yes, Tori.
a conjunction is an and?
Yes.
Yeah, but what is it?
A conjunction.
What is it?
It's a part of speech.
Oh, grammar. Why did they say so? They usually put a GR in front of it.
Do you think you'll be finishing this puzzle in the next 13 minutes?
Yes, and I can too if you stop interrupting me. I'm trying to think. Now, a man's nickname beginning with D.
I saw Dick Coulter today.
Who?
You remember Dick Coulter, our best man at our wedding?
Our best man?
Yes, at our wedding.
I thought his name was Richard something.
It is Richard Coulter.
Oh, you just call him that. It's his nickname. Dick. Look, Dick, that's right. Well, what did he want?
He just dropped in to see me to give me a message for you.
Well, what did he have? Where did you see him?
Well, he looked me up at the club and he just wanted me
You
to
were
tell
at the
you.
club today? I didn't know that.
I was just around there for a minute.
I thought you were gonna stay home and write today, Philip.
I just had some business to go to.
What business?
I had some errands. I had to pay the electric light bill. And when I dropped into the club, someone paged me.
Mrs. Page was at our club today. She voted for me. She looks good, really good after all the things she's been through.
Well, I was paged, and when I found out who it was, you can imagine how surprised I was.
No, I can't. How surprised were you?
A great deal.
Why? Who was it?
Dick Coulter.
He was the best man at our wedding, wasn't he?
I just told you that.
Well, what did he have to say? Did
Well-
he ask about me?
Yeah, well, he wanted to come out tomorrow night, but,
Why didn't you invite him along?
well, he's busy on business.
What business?
He works for an electric light company in Buffalo.
Philip, did you pay the electric bill today?
Yes. And he wants us to maybe go out there sometime and think about.
Why didn't you invite him to lunch?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I did.
Well, where did you go?
We went to Bonnie's.
Oh, Philip, you said you'd never go to Bonnie's again.
Well, he wanted to go, and so I thought.
Well, what did you have?
I ordered the lamb chops.
Philip, you never order lamb.
Well, it doesn't make any difference today. He ordered them, so I got them too. He ordered cocktails, and when
I
they
didn't
came,
know Dick drank.
I guess he doesn't make a habit of it.
I guess that's what happens when you move out west. He's in Buffalo, isn't he?
Yes.
Well, did he ask about me?
Yes, he ordered cocktails, and when they came,
You already told me that.
and when they came, he drank a toast to you.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, he wants to know if we can go to the theater tomorrow night. I told him that I wouldn't be able to
What
make
will I
it. but-
wear?
I told him that you probably could go, so he's gonna call you in the morning.
Well, why didn't you bring him out this evening?
Well, I just told you that. He had business to attend to.
What? Where do you know him from? School?
We were roommates at college.
Did you go to the same college?
Well, naturally, we were roommates.
Well, of course, I knew that.
Only he didn't go quite as long as I did.
Why? Was he smarter than you?
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Well, then why did he graduate before you did?
Well, I went more years than he did.
I know that, but why?
I got more degrees.
Oh,
I got my PhD.
PhD? What does that spell? You told me once.
It stands for Doctor of Philosophy.
You're a doctor? Imagine not knowing your own husband's a doctor. That's good, isn't it?
I guess so.
I'm gonna have to read up on that. I do have to stop confining my reading to just the books that you write.
Well, you better confine your reading to Hamlet for the next couple days.
Oh, I know that story.
Well, you better brush up on it.
I'm not worried about Hamlet. We should invite him to dinner.
Who?
Dick Coulter.
Oh, okay.
Is his wife with him?
He isn't married.
Isn't he?
Nope.
Why did I think that he was married?
I have no idea.
I know. It was our maid of honor that got married. she married that artificial Iceman.
Iceman
You know, the southerner that invented ice.
invented ice?
He discovered it or something.
I know something about electrical refrigeration.
Yes, that's it. Philip, did you pay the electric bill today?
Yes, I've told you a dozen times. That's one of the reasons I went out this afternoon. Good heavens, Victoria, can't you do a crossword puzzle without talking? I've read the same paragraph 40 times in the last 10 minutes.
Wow, you read fast. Now, don't get upset with me. I'm not the one that came in here talking about some best man that we haven't seen for eons. Eons. That goes right here. E-O-N-S. The O goes with boy, and the N goes with and the S goes with set. It is a hard one this evening.
The profound economical changes.
Philip?
Yes.
What does intimidate mean?
Intimidate means to frighten.
No, it doesn't. It begins with A.
Alarmed?
Now, don't be vindictive. I asked you what intimidate means.
Appall.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. But I want to do it myself. Next one is the Prince of Denmark.
Well, you certainly ought to know that one.
I think I do, but it slips my mind at the moment.
We were just speaking of him.
Dick Coulter. He's not the Prince of Denmark, is he?
Yes, no!
Well, I think it's unfair for them to think that everybody should know who the Prince of Denmark is.
Well, everyone should have heard of him. Are there any letters?
The third one is M.
I thought so. So you just sit there quietly and try to think, and maybe I'll get this article read. Finally!
Oh, my time's almost up. Prince of Denmark. Prince of... We were just speaking of him? I don't remember mentioning any prince.
If you don't mind, Victoria, I'm going in the other room to finish my article.
Are you mad at me?
I'm verging on it.
You never say Victoria unless you're very angry at me.
I've been sitting there trying to concentrate on something of vital interest to me, and all I can do is listen to you talk. How is a man supposed to read when someone is forever speaking to him?
I don't know. How can he?
He can't!
Well, I haven't been saying anything.
Excuse me. Who was it that was asking me the answers to tonight's crossword puzzle? It was you. You and your crossword puzzle. You and your club meetings. You and your Hamlet, Prince of Denmark.
Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. That goes right here. I knew it would come to me.
The profound economical changes in the last 3 years have gone without...
Thank you, that was fun. Let me introduce myself. I'm Ann Crump, and I am the director of tonight's performances. Let me give you a little background on how we came to have a Winneck Festival. As I mentioned before, when the pandemic hit, theaters were closed. And in July, we were allowed to open with restrictions, obviously. So we kind of scrambled and said, what can we do? We want to offer live theater. Let's figure something out. So I said, why don't we have a Winneck Festival with really small casts? And we can have separate rehearsals and have social distancing because we are 2 at a time and that's their pod. And they said, great, run with it. And I went, okay. It's mine now. But anyway, no, I really, really enjoyed it. The audition process also was a little different. Normally, you pick a show, you have the roles you need to fill, you audition, and you fill those roles. When I held auditions, I didn't know if anybody was going to show up. So when they did, I picked plays around the actors. And that was completely backwards, but we're in a backwards time right now, so it fits right in. It does. So, in Madam President, she mentioned Hamlet, Johns, Richards, Romeo and Juliet, but there's one play by Shakespeare she did not mention, and that was Macbeth. Macbeth is the shortest of Shakespeare's plays. And we are lucky enough to have one of the most famous dramatic monologues written in the English language, and that is Lady Macbeth. She has already committed regicide by killing King Duncan and is now slipping into insanity in her sleepwalking monologue. Enjoy.
Yet here's a spot still. Out, damn spot! Out, I say! 1, 2, 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie. A soldier and afeard? What need we fear who knows it, when none can call our power to account? Who would have thought such an old man would have so much blood in him? The Thane of Fife had a wife, but where is she now? What? Will these hands ne'er be clean? No, my lord, no. You mar all this with your starting. And yet, the smell of blood still. The sweetest perfumes in all Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Try not to look so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out on's grave. To bed! To bed! There's knocking at the gate! Come, come! Come, come! Give me your hand! What's done cannot be undone! To bed! To bed! To bed!
Well, there we go. Ah, give you nightmares. Okay, well, our next one act came from a need. When I held auditions, 2 women showed up and they confessed that they thought their time on stage was over, but they wanted to participate in some way. And they said, maybe there isn't anything for us. And I said, I'm gonna write you a play. So I did. These 2 ladies and I got together and kind of did some brainstorming, and I went off and wrote them this play because they are fantastic. And the thought of thinking your time on stage is over is like, I can't go there. So I really hope you enjoy this one act by yours truly called No Nonsense. Enjoy.
Hi, Barbara. Didn't we say 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
It's 5 after. So, anyway, how are Joel and Cindy, your grandkids? Are they going to camp this summer?
They're doing great. They're going to the same tennis camp they've been to for years, and they love it there. In fact, I'm taking the family on a vacation. We're going on a Caribbean cruise.
Sounds wonderful. Must be nice to be able to get away.
So what about you? How is my sweet nephew, George? Is he still working in that fancy restaurant? He always loved being in the kitchen. And what about his roommate? He's had a roommate for quite a while. Brad, isn't it? Oh, boy. Gee, I hope he doesn't wait too long before he settles down with somebody really nice to bring you grandchildren.
You know, actually, he's opened his own place, and he's doing quite well. You know, he never did have trouble getting people to like him.
He's such a great guy.
But Gloria, you simply can't put 2 and 2 together. George is gay. You know, he and Brad have been together for 17 years. There aren't going to be any grandkids for me. But you know, they're happier than most couples I know. Get along really well. What about you, Gloria? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. I had cataract surgery about 6 months ago, and it's amazing because I can see again. But I still have that pain in my shoulder, bursitis. It slows me down a bit. What about you? Any better?
Not really. I still need to get that hip replacement, but I just can't find the right doctor.
So, you're gonna just live with it?
Well, one of these days I'll bite the bullet when the time is right, and I'll get it done.
Barbara, it's been 8 years. 8 years. Your life is slipping away. You're not getting any younger. Why don't you get that surgery done so you can start playing golf again? You always loved to play golf. Don't you miss it? Don't answer. get that surgery done so you can start living again.
We'll see.
Did I tell you I'm taking my family on a vacation? We're going on a Caribbean cruise.
Indeed, you have. You know, but we ought to talk about what the reason we got together today. What are we gonna do about Mom? I never dreamt she'd end up in a nursing home after she fell over the neighbor's dog on the way to the mailbox. You know, at least the vet says the dog is gonna be okay.
Well, I think we better leave her right here. She likes the nurses, the food is good, and they have backgammon in the parlor.
Gloria, what I notice is not backgammon. What I notice is that geriatric pharmacologist that keeps nosing in. Mother is over-medicated and miserable, and she needs to go home. I'm worried about her.
Me too. Before her fall, I went over to clean her house. You know how I always do that. I got over there and the vacuum wasn't working. I'm like, I can't make it work no matter what. And I'm like, Mom, you gonna get a new vacuum cleaner? She's like, why would I get a new vacuum cleaner? It's just me here. I don't need a vacuum cleaner. I wouldn't use it. Why would I get a new vacuum cleaner? Forget it, she said, Gloria. It's good enough the way it is. She treats me like I'm 12 years old, I swear.
No.
But at least I can look forward to going on a Caribbean cruise. Did I tell you?
Sounds wonderful. You know, what if we brought her home and got her a visiting nurse?
Well, as long as the nurse was there, it would be fine. But if the nurse wasn't there, she'd be out and about, and we cannot have that. We can't have it. Because, do you remember the gas station incident?
Oh, good
Oh
grief.
my God.
Yeah, she was gonna go to the gas station.
Yes.
She opened the back door of the car to put the dog in
Mhm.
and forgot to shut the door.
So what does she do? She backs out of the garage with the door open, rips the door off the car, and keeps going. Does she notice?
No!
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. And then she gets to the gas station and the dog jumped out of the car.
And so then she gets home and the gas station attendant calls and said, ma'am, I have your dog. And she's like, they have my dog? How could they possibly have my dog? She doesn't, to this day, she doesn't know.
Oh, it's funny now, but it wasn't then.
Oh. She can't possibly drive anymore.
No, she can't drive. That's true.
So I suppose we need to get in touch with Joe Jr. and Robbie and see what they think.
Our brothers?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? They could care less.
Mhm.
You know, we go over there, we do her housework, we wash her dishes, we take her to all of her doctor's visits, and like you said, what do we get? Grief. You know, they go over occasionally for the obligatory visit, and what do they get? Cookies.
Every
Yeah.
time.
It's always that way. Mom took care of everything, and now it's our turn. We don't need to ask them about anything. They don't want any responsibility.
Mhm.
Lucky for us, we've been close and we can handle it.
Mhm. Speaking of being close, takes me back years. remember the time our parents bought us the double bed to share? Remember that?
Oh my gosh. And we used to fight over whose pillow would be on top because they overlapped in the middle. We called that game nonsense. No nonsense. In fact, sometimes we go to bed and we say, no nonsense tonight. Oh gosh. Life goes on.
Barbara, I never thought in a million years that I would be in this position. To have to make such a difficult decision about Mom.
Me either, Gloria. Me either.
I loved you, Barbara.
I love you too, Gloria.
Thank you. Oh, I just love this. Oh, it makes me so happy. All right, well, the next performance is a one-woman, one-act. And I want to set the scene for you. Think, have you ever been in a bar, restaurant, club, where the music is so loud you cannot have a conversation, you can't hear the person you're with, you've got to yell in order to get your point across? Well, this is what's happening to this woman in this scene. She is in a club that is extremely loud, and her date we cannot see. So please enjoy Drowned Out. What? Yes, this table will be fine. At least, I think that's what you said. You could have asked me to marry you or to assassinate several politicians for all I know. Why do they play the music so loud in these places? Why do they play the music so loud in every place? Is it because jukeboxes cost 25 cents now and they want people to get their money's worth? No, that can't possibly be it. Yes, I liked the play. At least I didn't actively dislike it. I mean, I didn't for a while go around screaming from the theater. It was the sort of pleasant little play that makes for interesting little conversations afterwards. Oh, you smiled when I said that. Oh, you must have been pleased with my response. Well, I'm beginning to be able to read your expressions. Wow, and I can read your lips. I'll be getting someplace. In the meantime, I can read the table. We're obviously not going to get any menus. Have you read the table yet? Have you read any interesting tables lately? Well, looky here. Someone carved "Life is meaningless" and their phone number. Well, yes, sometimes I do think life is meaningless. Sometimes I don't think at all. Sometimes I think I ought to cut my bangs. Do you think I ought to cut my bangs? Huh. Well, now, either you said, definitely ought to cut your bangs, you currently look like a Sealyham lapdog, or could you have possibly said, no, never cut your bangs. I love your bangs. I dream about your bangs. no, that's way too many syllables. Well, I guess I'll just nod my head to the music and tap my fingers on the table. I bet I looked adorable doing that. Oh, you're looking at the table. Oh, I've embarrassed you. Oh, I see. Nobody is nodding their head or tapping their fingers on the tables. They're all engaged in meaningful conversation. How do they do that? Are there scripts you can memorize? Or am I just not subscribing to the right magazines? Oh. You're reading the table. You're not embarrassed of me at all. Oh. Well, now, this is interesting. From your side of the table, the word carved next to that obscene drawing says, wow. And from my side of the table, it says, Mom. I would love to share that interesting tidbit with you. Perhaps I could turn around the table. Oh, but if I look up from that filthy picture and smile, will I give him the wrong impression? Oh, well, I guess I'll just keep nodding my head to the music and laughing and tapping my fingers. What? Well, that's the silliest thing I've ever said. What? Well, maybe he's asking me if I'm having a good time. I'll nod my head. And, oh, well, you're nodding your head too. And I'm nodding my head harder, and so are you. Oh, we've agreed to something. Oh, and now we're laughing together. I probably just agreed to help you hold up the place. Oh my God, I did. You're reaching into your pocket for a gun. Oh, it's $1. I wonder what I just agreed to for $1. You gonna offer any man in this place $1 to take me away? Oh, you're hailing a waitress. Are you gonna pay the waitress $1 to bring us a menu? Is it any wonder that I love you? Or would it be any wonder if I did? Well, yes. Considering we haven't even spoken more than 15 consecutive words to each other. Hi, I have a cab waiting. I think these are our seats. I think the play is about to start. Let's get a drink across the street. Sweet God in heaven, the waitress is giving me 4 quarters. You're gonna call paramedics to take me away to the loony bin. There is no escape. Ugh. Oh, you're walking to the jukebox. Oh, and you're stuffing the quarters in. And he's wrinkling his brow and pushing buttons. And I know this jukebox. You get 5 selections for $1. Huh? I don't believe it. The music stopped. I can hear the rattling of dishes and the pa-chinging of the cash register and the pinball machine saying, "You have defeated Kogar." And it's true. Here he comes. I have defeated Kogar, I get to tell him that I want out of this place. Oh! Oh! He selected a song that turned on several extra speakers. Oh, and he's standing there looking at me with a questioning look on his face. Maybe he wants to burn the place down? I'll nod my head passionately. But he's not sitting down. In fact, nobody is sitting down. All around me, everybody is standing up. Maybe everybody has had enough, and they want to tear down the timbers and smash the jukebox into a million little pieces. No. All the couples are embracing. Are the men going off to war? Are the women going off to the powder room? Are we going to split up into teams and play football? No. They're all walking into the middle of the floor. And they're crunching cockroaches under their feet into the cement? No. Could it be? It is. It is. They're dancing. They've surrendered to the music. My hero's choice has conquered their reserve. And there he is. He's standing there with his hands outstretched. Well, he's not threatening to strangle me. His hands are too far apart for that. And he couldn't be telling me how big his fish is. He probably wants me to dance. And I could get him to dance. Or I could turn him around and use him as a coat rack. Or, that's not all I could do. I could bang my head on the table until he gets the point, but then I'd have to walk around with the word mom on my forehead. Well, he's committed himself. He's said, I think we ought to dance, or I'm off to fight in France. Either way, the proper thing for me to do is to throw myself into his arms. I can't just sit here gripping the table's edge. I'm getting chewing gum under my fingernails. Okay. I'll let him lead me onto the dance floor, and then when we get there, he'll let go of me, and I'll fall on my hands and knees and crawl to safety, wherever that may be. And I do mean wherever. Okay, lead me to it. That's the spirit. That's the energy and drive that makes a winner. What?
Yes, that was amazing.
Oh, that was fun. We've all been there. So, thank you all for coming tonight. Really appreciate it. It usually is a RFA tradition here at the Lakeside Theater to have all of the actors receive you in the lobby so we can talk. Well, unfortunately, we're in a pandemic, and we won't be able to cross our invisible barrier to say hello. So if you see us out and about, please just feel free to say hi. Thank you. And we really, really do appreciate having an audience, and we hope you enjoyed our show. So, the last act is a favorite. It is one of the most iconic and well-known comedy routines ever written. Abbott and Costello perfected it in their standard routines. Let us leave you laughing. On
What's the matter? You blind or something? Can't you see I'm busy?
Oh, they told me I could get the information from you.
Who told you?
Oh, everybody I asked told me. They said, see the manager.
Well, now that you caught me, I guess I'll have to help you. What do you want?
I'm a reporter
We all got problems. Good for you anyhow.
from the Rangeley Highlander,
Oh, best paper in town.
the only paper in town.
Like I said, best paper in town.
Yes. This isn't my regular beat.
Well, you're lucky. Oh, I haven't seen you before. Regular, who could stand it?
I don't know the team.
Well, you are very lucky there.
Well, if I'm to write at the game, I've got to know the lineup, and I don't know much about baseball.
Well, some creds say that about me, but I'm glad to help you. What do you want?
I'd like the lineup for today's game.
Well, this ain't the major leagues. We don't have 6 catchers to choose from.
Well, you do have 9 baseball players, don't you?
That's right. Every time they take the field, 9 baseball players. Hey, what happened to the regular Pat Pettibone? He usually reports the game before.
Well, he is the regular sports reporter.
It's just like I said.
Oh, Pat was covering this track meet, you see, and somebody set a new shot put record.
So?
Well, so Pat didn't expect the guy to put the shot that far.
Well, I don't understand why that keeps Pat from reporting the ball game.
The shot put landed on Pat's foot.
Let me hear that again.
Mm-hmm. So Pat doesn't expect the guy to put the shot that far, and there he is, notebook in hand, ready to measure off the distance. The shot put comes sailing through the air and lands on Pat's foot and breaks it. The editor of the Rangeley Highlander sends me to report on the game.
Well, when you see Pat, say hello.
I'd be glad to. Now, can I have the lineup for today's game?
Certainly. Glad to help. Let's start with the infield. Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
Yeah, but I'd like to know the names of the players.
Well, I just told you.
You told me what?
No, he's on second.
Who's on second?
No, who's on first?
I don't know.
Third.
You mean third base?
That's right. I don't know who's on third.
I'm a little confused. You do have ball players on this team, I mean real live ball players?
Listen, I'm the manager of this team. We got some of the livest ball players in the whole league. You want to know where we finished last year?
Yes, I'd like to know that too, but first I need to know the names of the players. You see, I can't write up the game if I don't know the names of the players, and if I don't know the names of the players, I can't write up the game, right?
Right.
So let's start from scratch. You tell me the lineup for today's game.
Well, I already told you, but I'd be happy to tell you again. Who's on first? What's on second? And I don't know who's on third.
Well, if you don't know, who does?
Well, of course I know, and this is the second time I've told you. Every time I start to tell you, you interrupt me.
You told me what?
He's on second.
Who's on second?
Who's on first?
I don't know.
He's on third.
Okay, let's forget the infield for a moment, and let's go to the outfield.
Hey, the infield does a great job. They deserve some publicity. The least you can do is mention their names in the paper.
Yeah, we'll get back to them later. Let's start with the outfield.
Oh, we got a great outfield.
Okay, 3 of them, right? Left field, center field, right field.
Ah, real baseball expert.
Okay, you're gonna tell me the names of the players in the outfield. For instance, what's the name of the player in center field?
Why?
Izzy?
No, Izzy's the left fielder.
Who's the left fielder?
No, stupid. Who's on first?
I don't know!
He's on third.
We're back to the infield. You agreed that we could start with the outfield, because when we talked about the infield, we got nowhere.
Again, the outfield. Great bunch of players. What do you want to know?
I want to know the names.
Happy to oblige the press. Always happy to cooperate.
You have a center fielder,
Yes.
and that center fielder has a name.
Why?
I just want to know.
Well, why don't you listen? I just told you.
You told me what?
He's on second.
Who's on second?
Who's on first?
I don't know!
He's on third.
Okay. The facts that I'm after are simple enough. I just want to know the names of the players. You have a center fielder, I hope.
Certainly.
Yes, and the center fielder has a name.
Why?
Because.
No, because the right fielder.
Who's the right fielder?
Who's on first?
I don't know!
He's on third.
Okay, let's forget the outfield. Forget the outfield.
Well, that's what you said about the infield. You're gonna write a story about my baseball team, and you're not gonna mention the infield or the outfield?
We'll get back to them later.
Well, there's not many more positions I haven't already explained to you.
You have a picture, haven't you?
Yeah, we got a pitcher, and let me tell you, he's got a fastball, a breaking curve, and a changeup. He's one great little pitcher.
Okay, and that picture has a name?
Tomorrow.
I can't wait for tomorrow. I've got to write up the game today.
Oh, today's the catcher.
Who's the catcher?
Oh, who's on first?
I don't know!
He's on third.
Uh-huh. Okay. You have a picture.
Listen, you want to know the name of the pitcher and the catcher, right?
Right.
Tomorrow and today, the pitcher and the catcher.
So you're going to tell me the name of the pitcher tomorrow, but the name of the catcher today?
How many times do I have to go through this with you? Look, I'm cooperating with the press, aren't I?
I get it now.
Well, that's just great.
Yeah, okay. Let's take it a different way. Suppose I'm the coach and I want to give the team a little encouragement.
Hey, that's the job I do. I do the encouraging.
Just supposing.
Okay,
All right, so I go out to the pitcher and I say, nice game you're playing today, tomorrow, today. That's crazy.
What do you mean that's crazy?
Oh, forget this. Okay. Say I'm up to bat and I hit a terrific bunt.
Ah, good for you. If I could train more of my players to be good bunters, we'd be right up on top.
I'm one of your players, remember?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. I get up to bat and I hit a perfect bunt.
Smart move.
The ball goes to the pitcher, okay? The pitcher picks up the ball and throws it to who?
That's right, to who?
That's what I'm asking you. He throws it to who?
That's right.
What's right?
It's on second.
Who's on second?
Who's on third?
I don't know.
He's on third.
Yeah. Okay. I'll get this. Okay. Supposing it's payday. All right. The first baseman goes to get his paycheck. Who gets the money?
Of course, you think it should go to somebody else?
What about the second baseman?
Well, the first baseman hits .250, and he doesn't have to be the greatest fielder in the world. But the second baseman, he has to cover a lot more territory, and he's hitting over .300. Do you think my second baseman would be satisfied with the first baseman's salary?
I don't know.
He's on third.
We're back to third baseman. Okay. Okay.
Anyway, salaries are a private matter.
All right. Well, say I'm a player, okay?
For my team or the other side,
The other side.
right?
All right. I get up to bat. And I hit the ball to center field. Why catches the ball? He throws it to Izzy. Izzy throws it to because throws it to what? What throws it to who? Who throws it to? I don't know.
Yeah?
And I don't give a damn.
What did you just say?
I don't give a damn.
He's the shortstop.
Oh,
Oh, that's the